What is up, fam? Daniel here, and welcome back to Whole True Apologetics, where we seek answers to tough questions. Well, an article I read the other day, the article was titled, "The Top 7 Objections to Christianity." And the number one objection in the survey that was done in this article was that Christian groups, or Christians, are too intolerant. About 55% of the people interviewed stated that the reason for rejecting or not accepting Christianity is that they saw Christians as completely intolerant. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. Are Christians intolerant, and what does that even mean? Because it's not uncommon for someone to state that. It's not uncommon to say, hey, you're Christian, you're intolerant. And therefore, since you're intolerant, they mean that also you're unloving. And so you can see this clearly also from another article in the Times, where the title of this article in the Times stated, "Atheists aren't the problem, Christian intolerance is the problem." So how do we deal with this? How do we answer this question? Are Christians intolerant? Well, first what we need to do is we need to separate, it's important, to separate genuine Christianity from how some people live. Separate genuine Christianity from how some people live. What do I mean by that? Anybody and everybody can claim whatever. Does not mean what they claim is true. All right? Anybody can claim to be a Christian. But how do you know if they're living as a Christian? Well, you have to look at the person of Jesus. Look at the person of Jesus, how Jesus lived and how Jesus called Christians to live. If they are living the opposite, then it's easy to conclude they aren't living genuine Christianity. So that's vitally important to separate genuine Christianity from how some people live. Now let's dig more into this question of tolerance. All right, what does it even mean? We got to understand when we're having this conversation, we got to understand what we mean by the word tolerant. All right, what do we mean? Because the word has changed dramatically, and you'll see in a second. Now, the word tolerance and the classical understanding of the word tolerance simply meant to disagree with somebody, yet hold them with respect. All right, so you disagree with their views, maybe their beliefs or their practices. You disagree with them. Yet you don't accept their view, but you still love and respect them. All right? And J. Warner Wallace kind of put it this way. He said in the classical view, you have two or more people. All right? You have these people disagreeing on a belief or a set of practices. And then also these people, they disagree, yet they don't accept the other view, yet they still respect the other person. That's the classical understanding of tolerance. Today, the term has completely changed. All right? Many people state something that is completely opposite. Tolerant today, this is what they state by tolerance. Tolerance today means the act of recognizing and accepting the equal validity and value of all views, beliefs, and actions. Do you see the drastic change? No longer is it disagreeing with somebody yet still being at peace with them. Now it is you have to accept and celebrate the other person's view. That's what they mean by tolerance. Now, so let's go back to Christianity. When we talk about Christianity, Christians claim that Jesus is the only way. We believe Jesus is the ultimate way. But we also do not believe that you can force someone to believe that. If someone hears it, they disagree with it, you respect them and love them, all right? Though you believe they're wrong. Now back to this question of, are Christians intolerant? Are Christians intolerant? If we're talking about the classical term, well, yeah, Christians are called to, as far by them, to be at peace with one another, to be at peace with the other person, to have compassion towards the other person, to love the other person, to hold to what is true, and disagree with those that don't hold to what is true, yet still love and respect the other person. All right? That's how Christians are called to live. Christians, however, are not called to live to accept all views. All right? Accept everything out there. All right? We hold to what is true and disagree with what is not. Yet we do it with respect and honor. Tolerance today, the definition of tolerance today of accepting all views as valid, doesn't work. Practically doesn't work. And people honestly don't even live this way, right? Just think, for example, a serial killer. Do we accept his view as valid? No, we don't. We're like, no, what he did and his actions are wrong. Well, that's very intolerant of us, isn't it? What about a child molester? Well, it's very intolerant of us to think what they did was wrong and what they say is wrong. We don't accept what they said and did as true. The idea that everyone is right and we should accept everyone's beliefs is just nonsense. It does not work. As Christians, we are intolerant, as in we disagree and do not accept what is life-taking and contrary to God. Yet we still will respect others that disagree with us. I can disagree, and I do disagree with an atheist on a lot of things. I disagree with an atheist, but in no way do I hate an atheist. In no way do I hate an atheist. I feel that they have the right to hold what they believe, but I do believe what they hold is wrong. Now I want to end with this quote by a great author. His name is Michael Kruger. He states this about talking about how Christians should live in this culture today. All right, using this word tolerance, how we're called to live. We disagree with another person. How are we called to live? He says this: at the end of the day, what we find ourselves in is a culture that we're kind of in this weird position. We have a culture that says all views are accepted or should be accepted, but then the culture also won't accept the one view that says there's only one right way, which is Christianity. Christians will be tempted to compromise. And he says, I hope that we take a lesson from the early church on this. This is what he's saying. The early Christians felt the same pressure to bow down to the Roman gods, to admit that Christ is just one of many gods, but they did not give in. And my prayer for our modern world is that we do not give in. We stay the course. We continue from the Jesus is indeed the only way to God. So why do I state that? Because we can disagree with somebody. Christians can disagree with somebody. Anybody can disagree with somebody without hating that person. This is vital to understand. Not all beliefs are valid. Not all actions are valid and good. We should be intolerant and not celebrating actions and beliefs that are death-bringing, destructive, and contrary to God. But that does not mean we now live with hate towards one another or hate towards someone we disagree with. We are still called to live at peace with one another. We're still called to have compassion and love towards one another. But that does not mean we accept all beliefs and all things as valid. We hold to what the Bible says. We hold to what God says. We stay the course. And if someone disagrees with us, we respect and love them. Yet we still hold to what is true. So if that helps a little bit, we're going to dig into a little bit more of this next week, and we'll talk more about this.